Proverbs 9 verse 10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." Hi, and welcome to another moment in the Word. And in today's moment, we're asking the question, what is the fear of the Lord? Does that mean we should be running around afraid of God? Let's discuss. Now, when the fear of the Lord is talked about, most of the time people will jump ahead and talk about how that just means to have reverence towards God. But is that it? How do we get to that place of reverence or deep respect towards God? Well, I think the vehicle that gets us to reverence is fear. So should we fear God? I would say yes. Matthew 10 verse 28 tells us that we should fear the one, that is God, who can destroy both body and soul in Gehenna. Philippians 2 verse 12 tells us to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. Hebrews 12 verse 29 tells us that our God is a consuming fire. And Hebrews 10 verse 31 tells us it is a terrible, terrifying thing to fall into the hands of the living God. That should invoke some fear in all of us. Where does that leave us? Should we be walking around on eggshells, afraid and scared of what God might do to us? Simply put, no. Again, Proverbs 9 verse 10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." And there lies the key. The knowledge of the Holy One, the knowledge of God and who He is. That is understanding. And that is what the fear of the Lord is. It is a proper understanding of who God is. God holds a might and a power that we cannot fathom. With just a word, He created everything. And with another word, He could wipe out all of creation and us along with it. And God would be completely justified in doing so. And yet, God doesn't. Rather, He extends mercy. Psalm 62 verses 11 and 12 says, "Once God has spoken, twice I have heard this, that power belongs to God, and loving kindness is yours, O Lord. For you recompense a man according to his work." These two things I have heard and come to know of the Holy One. That He is strong and powerful, and that He is gracious and merciful. This is a proper understanding of God. Yes, God is storing up wrath for the day of judgment, and one day He will pour it out upon all the unrighteous on the earth. Yet, while the wrath of God is being stored up, Jesus Christ stands before us. With one hand, He holds back the wrath of God Almighty, and with the other hand, He reaches forward, extending grace and mercy that can only be found in Him. But one day, Christ will drop both of His hands. It is this understanding of the Lord that brings me to a place of reverence, that brings me to a place of honor and respect and worship to our loving and powerful God. This is the fear of the Lord. Yes, our God is a consuming fire. That invokes fear. But it's the fear of the Lord that leads me to want to be purified and refined by that consuming fire. It truly is a terrifying thing to fall into the hands of the living God. But the fear of the Lord leads me to want to be in no other place than the tender and merciful hands of the potter, from which no one can pluck me from. Should we fear God? Yes. He is mighty and He is powerful. But the fear of the Lord leads us to know that He is merciful and loving too. It is this knowledge of the Holy One that brings understanding. Until next time, that's today's moment in the Word.